Hi everyone, it's Cassandra, and I want to share with you our work in progress book that we created for our prejudging that we're going to go through for our competition tomorrow, or today when this video uploads, I should say. And during our registration progress, we got a RSVP back for our registration saying that if you are master level, it is suggested that you create bring some work in progress photos and maybe some swatches and stuff to help show the judges all the work and effort that you put into your costume. And we decided to do that. And this is not the first time we've done something like this before. We did this for when we went to WCS prelims. We've done this for a few other big costumes that we did because we wanted to show all the hard work and effort that went into our costumes. And the best way to capture this is to create a work in progress book. The book serves two purposes. It shows some up-close detail photos of the things that you did. And number two, when you have a brain fart during judging and you forget something that was key or important and you've been working on 3 hours of sleep and you've been spazzing and stressed out and you probably had a wardrobe malfunction a couple of times during the day, your brain isn't working right. So your number two reason why is this helps the judges know what you did, because sometimes you don't remember all the awesome stuff that you worked on and you're going to brain fart. I'll probably brain fart. I have brain farted before, so this is nothing new to me, so these are invaluable to have. And it does not have to be this elaborate. For us, you can just go get a couple of pieces of paper, print out your pictures from Kinko's, or abuse your work copier. Not saying that I did that. But, and staple them together. This is a bit much, I would say, but, I've gotten to the point that I want to do certain things for my books to make them stand out a bit more. And doing extra little effort and extra touches like this help you stand out in the judges' minds. They'll remember you. They're like, oh, that's the one that had that neat, very well organized book that they presented. And hey, first impressions, man. This is your first impression. Well, your costume is your first impression, and this helps a little extra kick in the bum there. And so we went purple because, hey, we're tentacle grape Kool-Aid, yay. So I decided to make a grape thing. And I had access to a hole punch binder thing, so I brought in everything that I needed and bound it at a place that I will not name right now. Yeah. So let's go through it real quick. We'll skip the first page because that has too much personal information. But yeah, the first page in here has our information for our email, point of contest, phone number, and stuff that was on our pre-reg form. And here, yeah, it's a little bit much, but we got table of contents going on here, and it lists everything in here. So if the judges want to look at a particular thing that we did, they can thumb through here real quick and say, oh, they did this. And we broke it down into really three main sections. Our registration information for our registration form, our work in progress pictures. There's a little extra, okay, 4 sections. A little cosplay reference list, and our fabric swatches. And these two things are not quite the norm, but we did a reference list of all our supplies. So, like I said, you're gonna brain fart. We broke it down by the character, listing detailed information on, we got this from here, we got this from there, we purchased this and whatnot. Because sometimes you may not remember if you bought something, or if you modified something, or if you made it from scratch. And fabric swatches, because it's always nice for the judges to be able to look at all the cool fabrics that you used, because sometimes they can't see everything, like linings for certain things are buried under layers upon layers of costuming. And they can look at the swatches really easily. Okay, so the first part is our pre-reg form. Part of it was before the table of contents, was like a preface. And then the rest of it, the questionnaire part, we broke down here. And we went into detail about a little bit more detail on the questions that we answered and put more depth into it, I should say. So they can go through here and see what we did and what was done or modified or what techniques we used and whatnot. And we just, like I said, we just expounded on the answers that we did before in our online registration. And then it goes into our work in progress sections. We broke ours down into 3 sections because there were 3 main elements that we worked on. My costume, JD's costume, and a prop that we have. So the judges can go, okay, here's her costume, here's his costume, and here's all the work in progress stuff for the prop. So it's broken down in that sense. They can find stuff. And yes, we paginated everything so they can know what page number that it was on, and they could just refer to the table of contents. Like I said, trying to make life easier for them. They got, and in this case, I believe we have 10 minutes to go through judging for this convention. And so in that 10 minutes time, they can thumb through this and as they're inspecting your costume. So let's go into the reference part. Each section I broke down into by the characters or prop. I did it reference pictures with a breakdown of what we did first, then the work in progress pictures. Because I do this first so they can see what the image is, what we are trying to replicate, and then we go into detail about all the techniques and stuff that we did to make awesomeness occur. And for us, we did Malayusha, or arch enemy and hero, or as us in the fandom of this say, anime full of plot. Lots of deep plot. So for me, I chose to do Mal, or the Crimson Scholar, and I'll say Crimson Scholar because she wasn't in her Demon King form. She was using her alias, so I'll refer to her as Crimson Scholar at this point for this particular costume. And it's in black and white. It is preferable that you always use a color photo for referencing so the judges can help you show your accuracy a bit more. This comes from manga. That's why this outfit looks a little bit unusual to certain people. You're like, doesn't she have this outfit and that outfit? I've never seen this before, and her hair's up in a ponytail. Yeah, that's right. I went and read manga because, you know, if I'm a fan of something, I try to go back and read it later. Manga has tons and tons of outfits, and they're almost all different from the anime, and I fell in love with this, so I wanted to make it instead of the default red outfit that a lot of people like to make. You know, the red with the black and the horns and whatnot. This one is not that, so I fell in love with this, and I've been kind of on a 18th century kick lately. And I want to challenge myself a bit more, but digressing. Reference pictures, different shots and angles, breakdown of the costume, details. I did underpinnings, so showing it in various stages. Well, I didn't take that many pictures of it, but that's before I put the a skirt hemming with the lace and the bum pad and whatnot. And again, you do this to show various stages of the process so they can see what you did. You can show your work. Like here's the duck layer of my bodice, and here's the fashion fabric that's been combined with it, with trim on it and stuff, and it's partially in progress and whatnot. And it goes, and you can show you your work, because here it's just a plain looking cotton fabric, and oh, there's some little details on here and trims and stuff to show that, yeah, I did that. That was me. And again, various stages of progress to show the judges you did do your work. Here, seam work I showed because I did French seams, and they can't get all the way up in your costume. And as you see, as we're going through here, my costume in particular has lots of layers, and they can't get through all those layers. So this helps them show what I did. Same thing with the wig. I started with a base wig, and then showing various parts of the stages of the construction progress of styling that I did these modifications. And again, it's just more of the same. See? And again, with JD's costume, I broke down what we did, what we modified, what we purchased or whatnot, and in plain terms, color picture. This one gets a color picture because in anime and in manga, his outfits are pretty much the same, and the coloring is pretty much the same too, so I pulled in this image to use because I had a color to go by. And again, showing all the various work in progress for it. Lots of work in progress, and and I got really detailed in showing seam work and whatnot, and because I'm proud of my work and I want to show the judges that, hey, I made this thing that the scabbard hangs off of. Look at me, I did a cool thing. It's not a belt that I purchased, I did it on my own. And this proves that, yes, I did that work. Scabbard, I mean, the crown, I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's really cool that you can say, pat yourself in the back when you look at it after the fact. And like, here's our boots that we purchased and gloves, and then showing him King Hoppo painting, JD painting, for going from here to here, showing progress there. And then our prop that we made, which has probably been all over the place now and potentially been spammed. We made a giant pillow. That's in, yeah, if you're a fan of the series, you know what this is. So we made a giant hug pillow with King Hoppo on it. So all that effort and work went into making this pillow. I know it's a bit much, but hey, it's for our fandom and it's what we love to do. And showing the progress of how we make the pillow. Photograph, cosplayer in costume, front and back to make said pillow. Yay. And then again, not necessary, but we did a breakdown and labeled which character is which of all our sources of things that we purchased and whatnot. And I tend to keep a spreadsheet of our purchases and supplies and whatnot, because someone may come back later to ask questions about, hey, where'd you buy that at? And I can tell them, hey, I went here. And this is not always accurate, because it's probably about, per costume, about, dare I say, $20 to $50 off the estimate, and I mean on a lowballing side, because you forget to write stuff down and some notions and things and whatnot. And then finally, our swatches, which is super important because, again, the judges can't get all up in your costume, so under layers and whatnot. And so here is a breakdown of all the fabrics that we used, and I labeled what the name of the fabric is and what costume part it applies to. Like here, this matte satin I got at Joann's, and I list underneath it that it was the over petticoat or skirt for normal people, and I used it to make bias tape, which I have a sample of the bias tape right here. And so the judges are like, oh yeah, that's this. Oh, and you made the bias tape, because I have a little bit left over. And they're like, oh cool, yeah, you did the thing. And again, I break down every fabric that I used. This is the lining for something, and this is the lining for the robe. This is the lining for the bodice that I made. And they can't see that, and so they can see these fabric choices that I made and why I made them, and if there's a good choice or a bad choice. And here's some lace that we had modified. I put this here so they can see, hey, there's the lace. And definitely we had to put in King Hoppo, JD's costume swatches, because he's not physically here. A lot of people will learn this by now when this airs, or posts, or uploads. It was essential to have his swatches on hand, because they can't touch the costume because it's not back from Afghanistan yet. And he and I know firsthand the U.S. Postal Service has screwed us over so many times with these costumes. Even right now, I mourn the loss of some trim that has not arrived in time for me to finish my costume the way I would like to finish it. Or his sword that went mysteriously missing for several weeks. But digressing here, we had to make swatches so the judges can see the fabrics that we use firsthand, since the costume is not available to us. So they can go through and it's like, oh, this was the thing that held the belt. Here's the belt. Here's the pants. And they're like, oh, you did embroider that thing on his tabard, because I did a lot of hard work on this just to make stupid bias tape. But I want the bias tape to be special, so I went from broadcloth to bias tape to embroidered bias tape, because I am masochistic as all heck. But yeah, again, just little touches like this help judges see things in an easy place, and it's consolidated in one nice little clean picture. So that's pretty much it. And later on, we'll post a breakdown of all our work in progress pictures, and we'll list all the fabric sources, and we'll post pictures of the swatches up online so you can find out where we got everything at. And sorry guys again for holding out on you. We normally post all of our work in progress because we like to share what we do with others, so others can learn from our failures or get inspired from something or see a cool fabric that we use they want to use it in their costume for their upcoming project. So sorry about that, but everything's going to be uploaded eventually from the next upcoming weeks. So that's it for now. I need to go finish hemming my costume because it's not done yet. And it's Friday of MTAC at 7 p.m. as I'm filming this. But yeah, U.S. Postal Service screwed me over, so I'm going to have to do some make it work moments in the big time. Yay! Well, that's it. See you at MTAC tomorrow. Or hi to everybody I saw at MTAC. And yay! And King Hopper will be back in the next month. Woo woo! Until later. Bye.